This year's first edition of Battle of the Blues ends with a big win for the Duke Blue Devils at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Final score 73, Duke 68, Carolina.
This rivalry never disappoints. Right now the Blue Devils are celebrating their victory. We're waiting to hear from the players and coaches about tonight's game. Thank you for joining us. I'm Deborah Morgan.
And I'm Gerald Owen. Sky 5 is over Cameron Indoor Stadium right now as excited Duke fans are making their way toward the quad, many of them to probably set a fire.
Oh yeah, they have a burn permit for tonight, so you know that there will be a fire tonight. And we have live team coverage from Chapel Hill to Durham. We begin with Ken Smith outside Cameron Indoor Stadium, where the fans are celebrating a win tonight. Ken?
Yeah, Deborah and Gerald, you're absolutely right. Some very happy fans are pouring out of Cameron Indoor Stadium right now. I got to tell you, to start with, these Blue Devils fans did not have a lot to cheer about because, you know, Carolina sprinted out to that lead. But I was inside when Duke took the lead, and you could not hear yourself think inside Cameron Indoor Stadium. It was that loud. But, you know, a lot of the students pouring out of Cameron Indoor Stadium right now spent the last 5 weeks in Krzyzewskiville, some of them for the very first time. The Cameron Crazies charge for front row seats to one of the great college basketball rivalry games. This is the students' reward for braving the elements for more than a month in a tent in Krzyzewskiville. Was this all worth it, tenting out?
It was so worth it because we're on the front and second rows. This is so worth it. 5 weeks of tenting is definitely worth this.
Living in Krzyzewskiville guarantees students standing room only for the showdown at Duke against Tobacco Road rival Tar Heels. First-time tenters, as they're called, like everyone else, had to deal with rain, high winds, even snow this year.
Only 3 nights maybe that it was really cold, but otherwise we've really been enjoying it.
And so when it hits below 27 degrees, they give us grace, and then we're always like, yay, thank goodness.
And not even a knee injury was enough to keep Sam Parks from this game.
There's absolutely no way I was going to miss this game.
By the way, this diehard Duke fan grew up in Chapel Hill and got his knee worked on at UNC hospitals.
My knee is actually kind of a Tar Heel fan, but the rest of me is 100% Blue Devil.
Whatever the motivation, all first-time Krzyzewskiville tenters say being so close to the action is the best payoff for living in a tent for 5 weeks.
We had parties every night. We just all enjoyed ourselves. Lots of studying was done. This semester's been so hard, but I am so glad that I've tented. This has been the best thing about second semester so far. I've loved it.
Well, she and a lot of Duke fans loved tonight's outcome. And I got to tell you, I've seen students already sprinting across this parking lot in order to get to the quad to continue this celebration. And let's check in on the quad with my colleague, Renee Chu.
Ken, for a while, it almost seemed like there wasn't going to be a celebration the way the first half was going, but sure enough, Duke got the job done, took down their arch rival Carolina, and yes, the party is on. It was fascinating to see as soon as the game ended, everyone in their dorms just start streaming out and they start heading in the center area of the quad. I'll step out of the way so you can check out just how this crowd is building, and yes, they have the fire going. This is how Duke fans celebrate a win over North Carolina, their arch rival, their nemesis, the opponent they want to see go down in flames. I suppose there's a little symbolism with this bonfire, and you can really get an idea of just how the celebration is going with this shot from Sky 5. This is a tradition that goes back about 20 years when Duke started winning national championships in the 1990s. And yes, this is a way for Duke students to express just how ecstatic, how excited they are over their win against arch rival North Carolina. Now, you may be wondering, okay, what's burning in that bonfire? Part of the ritual is that Duke students, the fraternities, the sororities, the dorms, they build these huge wooden benches. They paint them with the Greek letters or the name of the house, and then they start off with 3 benches in the middle of that fire, and then as the night goes on, they will add a bench here and there. Okay, buses just pulled up in the quad, and now you can see students are running toward the center there to get in on the action. My goodness, Cameron Crazies ecstatic, they are euphoric. There are safety rules in that only benches can be added to the fire, but I'm sure as the night goes on, we're going to start seeing some random objects being thrown in there. And we do have fire marshals, firefighters, and also Duke administrators all around the perimeter to make sure that students stay safe and that everything is under control. You can hear the crowd just yelling there. They are so excited about this. This is just one of those things that they always do whenever Duke wins over North Carolina on the basketball court. And yes, they have a permit for this, and the rain has cleared up, so it looks like it'll be a good night for all of this. What a night for the Cameron Crazies. What a night for Duke to get this. Now coming up, we'll go over and talk to some of those students, just talk to them about why they love watching this bonfire, why they love being part of this celebration. It's all being part of a Duke student. This is tradition, and they get to do this here on the quad, and we'll show you a little bit more of the celebration coming up in our newscast.
All right, Renee, they have 4 burn permits for this season, correct, the university?
That's right. They do this for the 2 regular season Duke-UNC men's basketball games, and they also have 2 saved for the men's national championship and the women's national championship. So in any given year, they can have 4 bonfires. Of course, this is the first of the year.
That's a lot of benches.
It's going to be a big fire tonight for sure. Renee, thank you.
All right, we'll check back with Renee for updates as the celebration and the post-game coverage continues.
Sky 5's going to stay there too.
Yeah.
Our coverage continues now with Adam Owens live on Franklin Street in Chapel Hill. And Adam, boy, that first half certainly looked like it was going Carolina's way.
It's been a very stressful time up here at the Top of the Hill restaurant here on Franklin Street. There was a lot of noise and a lot of excitement inside, but it has died down, as you can tell behind me right now. And you look down on Franklin Street. Had this been a win for the Tar Heels, this would have been packed with a bunch of people. You can see a lot of officers are in place. We're ready for just that event, but it just didn't turn out for these guys. They sounded one way in the first half of the game, dramatically different in the second half, and if you watch the game, you know exactly why. UNC scored first and stayed ahead, but just could not hold on later on. That made for a very emotionally roller coaster style night here. UNC fans were hanging on every shot, every rebound. And you can just listen to some of the video we had from earlier, the noise that was going on inside this place. Again, when UNC was on top earlier on in the game. And though it did not bounce their way this time, they're still feeling good here. You know, they feel like their team really held with the competition. They're still proud of their guys, and they still love it when these 2 teams get together.
Oh, I've been watching this since I was born. Like every year, it's overtimes, buzzer beaters.
This is great basketball, right? What more could you ask for? Amazing players, come on, amazing rivalry teams. It's great basketball. It's all you can want. It's the perfect day.
UNC fans did not get the win that they were hoping for over their rivals today, but they did get a bit of a win when it came to a prank they pulled earlier. Hours before this game started, someone placed a Blue Devil mascot mask on top of the UNC student store here on campus. It was later taken down and returned to Duke University, but that might have been their one win earlier today, or that prank they pulled off. A lot of people here around campus not exactly sure who was responsible for that, but have the big questions lingering. How in the world did they get that mascot's mask, and how in the world did they get it on top of that building like that? But a very, very tough night here for the Tar Heel Nation. They very much wanted to be partying down there, but it just didn't turn out that way.
You know, still a great game, though, for sure. All right, Adam Owens, thank you so much.
And UNC coach Roy Williams is addressing the media. Let's listen in.
Well, we're extremely disappointed, to say the least, but I'm not disappointed in the effort of our team. The intensity tonight was better than we've had all year long, but Duke gets that from everybody. You got to congratulate them. They make 13 out of 14 free throws in the second half. We needed to miss a couple of those, to say the least, and we needed to make a couple of ours, but that's just picking one thing out. I think, to me, the biggest plays of the second half, Thornton made a couple of threes when we weren't supposed to be helping. We're trying to guard the ball and not to sag back in to help, and he got 2 open threes, and one of them came off of after an offensive rebound. And we were still right there, and we get them to miss a shot. I thought it was going to be a shot clock violation, but then they call a foul, and it probably was a foul. I'm not complaining about that. I think it was a 4-point game at that time, and so that put them back on the free throw line. Instead of going down with our ball down 4, it was our ball down 6, and we couldn't get over the hump. But that I was really pleased with our effort tonight. I think our intensity, as I said, first comment was by far the best that we've had this year. We didn't shoot the ball very well, and I really think we're a good shooting team. PJ, who's really been shooting the ball extremely well from three-point line, was 1 for 7, and Leslie was 0 for 3, and both of them are good shooters, but you have to congratulate Duke's perimeter defense because they made the shots covered, made them more difficult. But, you know, I'm not into moral victories, and I told them that in the locker room, but I am pleased with the effort they gave and how hard and the focus that they tried to be. So you just congratulate Duke. There's a reason they're #1 in the country, because they're really good. And they got off to a great start this year, playing the most difficult schedule in the country, and played great. And then when Ryan went down, and 2 out of 3 games there, they were a little out of whack, and they've been playing great lately. So it's just we get a chance to play them again. Hopefully we'll play better, and hopefully they'll play worse.
What went into changing the lineup to start?
I didn't hear what you said.
What went into the decision to change the lineup a bit and give PJ the start?
I started to do it 4 or 5 games ago, but everybody's saying, well, you were going to put PJ in for somebody else. But nobody knows my team, but it's popular to say who the hell's supposed to be in the lineup when you don't know what in the dickens you're talking about. But for us, he's such a good scorer. And Duke's 4-man, Emil Jefferson and Josh Hairston, is not a focal point of their offense, because their 3-point shooting team are throwing the ball to Mason inside. So we hoped that PJ would be able to battle and guard inside, and he did fine with that. They got a couple of offensive rebounds just on reach, and then Mason, when he came across the lane 2 times with that big jump hook, we don't have the size to put up with anything like that. But as I say, we started to make that change 4 or 5 games ago, and didn't do it. But who knows? I may start 5 different guys Saturday.
Coach, you were up there. What did you take from your team's performance tonight that you can take for the rest of the season?
Well, I hope they realize how much they invested, and that the results were better. You know, it's still a loss. And as I said, I'm not into moral victories, but I hope that they take in there that they invested more and they got more out of it too.
Coach, about 3 minutes into the second half, you'd control the game for the most part up until that point. He went to an odd lineup that had Josh Hairston and 4 guards, and then they went on a 20-9 run. What matchup problems did that create for you?
You know, in my opinion, it was not a matchup problem. It's their guys making plays. I think if you go back and look, and I may be wrong, but I think that's when we helped on the drive, and Thornton made 2 threes, I think, from the right side. It might have been 3. I don't know. He made 3 out of 4, but I know it was 2 of them, and one of those, it was a bad box out on ours. We got him to miss the first shot, and I'm going to guess it was Suleiman that ran all the way from the right side of the court all the way across and got the rebound right in front of their bench. But it wasn't really a matchup problem because we were small also, you know, and so PJ was probably the guy that would be guarding Tyler at that lineup. But we had one big guy, and they had one big guy, Josh Hairston, in there at that time. But like I say, you got to congratulate them. They made some big shots.
Coach, you also tightened your lineup. 4 starters had 34 minutes. Marcus had 30. Is that something specific to Duke, or is that something you're looking to do down the road?
I was trying to win the daggum game, and, you know, I don't make decisions about how many minutes a guy's going to play. I'm going to play the guys that I want at that specific time, and we may play 5 guys 40 minutes Saturday. I may be back playing 12 guys in the first half. You know, we didn't have Joel. Desmond came in and played for us a couple of minutes in the first half, and he's good on the defensive end of the floor, but we've been struggling scoring the ball. I mean, if you look at our club, we've been struggling in a lot of ways, but one of the ways we've been struggling is scoring, and so putting PJ in there.
UNC coach Roy Williams, talking to the media, says the intensity, the best he's seen all year from his team. Of course, disappointed, but
disappointing the outcome, but not in his team.
Right,
you know,
as proud as he can be in a loss that I've ever seen him.
And I saw those threes that Thornton was making, and you could tell the momentum. That's where it all shifted. Not only did Duke take the lead, but then the momentum just kept going after that. So we are going to hear from Coach K then shortly.
Yes, and we'll have much more in tonight's game throughout the hour, including the victory celebration over there in Durham.
And again, we are waiting on Coach K to talk to everyone. That could happen at any time, as well as locker room interviews with players from both teams.
We'll also take you inside a world shrouded in secrecy. We'll show you what it's like to be one of the mascots in this rivalry. We'll be right back. We want to go back to Durham now. Coach Mike Krzyzewski is talking to the media about tonight's game.
The way Duke and Carolina teams play, you know, they played so hard. and we did too. They started a different lineup, and they really went away from all the stuff that they normally do and trying to just really run it down our throats. And putting Bullock at the 4. I mean, those two kids, Bullock and Hairston, are two of the best shooters in the country. I mean, they just put a lot of pressure on you. And in McAdoo, they're good. Yeah, I think they're really good, and they're deep, and they're deeper than we are. So you're worried about attrition, and you know the pace of the game and the fouls. You know, we just made some dumb fouls and got ourselves in a lot of foul trouble. And our guys had to play with foul trouble. But we turned it over more than we have the entire year. And with 11 first half turnovers, half their points came off of our turnovers. And then we started the half, and Mason got his third, and we're down 38-31. I subbed for Mason. I thought he was playing like he had 3 fouls. And McAdoo was just going at him. And so McAdoo was either going to score or Mason was going to foul him. And so we took him out. And Hairston and Thornton, you know, really did a great job for us. I think the hero for us in this game was Thornton. You know, he would not let us lose. He's guarding the 4. You know, he hit a big 3 that passed to Quinn in the full court. Knocked it out one time. Didn't get a rebound, but knocked it out, so we got an extra possession. Just, you know, a terrific performance by Tyler Thornton. And we got those threes, he and Rashid and Seth, and then Seth hit another 3. And then down the stretch, we hit every free throw. Our guys have been so good at end-of-game situations to step up there and hit. You know, it's a lot of game pressure, and I know they're tired because we couldn't sub as much. You just can't sub as we don't have that many players. But a terrific win. The crowd was great. It's just a great win for us. I'm really proud of the grit my team showed tonight. Any questions?
Rashid was all over the place doing a lot of little things out there tonight. Was this the most mature game he's played this year?
Well, he's been pretty good. In this venue, you know, when it's your first Duke North Carolina game to do it, that makes it a little bit more impressive. But you know, he's good. Every once in a while he goes to being a freshman, you know, like at Boston College, and I think that's just going to happen, you know. But tonight he did a great job. He's exhausted. I mean, and usually an upperclassman can work through tired better. He was able to kind of learn that tonight, to work through being tired.
Tyler run the 4 in practice, or how difficult?
Did Tyler what?
Does he run the 4 in practice, and how difficult is it even to know?
No, he doesn't. You know, well, Tyler's going to be a coach one day. You know, he really understands the game, and it's why early on in the season, when Ryan was playing, and Tyler and Quinn were in the game, Tyler can orchestrate things defensively and offensively without having the ball. And with Tyler, Quinn, and Ryan out there, just a really smart basketball team. And he knows the game, and he knows every position. He can tell guys what to do, and they'll listen because, you know, he's one of our leaders. So yeah, he pays attention. He's earned his scholarship, I'll tell you that, tonight.
Back now on WRAL, you are looking live at the post-Battle of the Blues celebration underway in Durham right now.
I think that bench is so massive, they're having a hard time getting it lit and to keep burning, but they're still working on it. Look at how that crowd is growing out there. Duke Blue Devils fans so happy tonight with the win in their team.
Yeah, not a big fire. Maybe they made it out of cinder block.
Oh, look, there looks like to be another one that might be starting instead.
Yeah.
So, well, they are the ultimate school cheerleader, the college mascots, but it's not easy being them.
WRAL's Julia Sims shows us the mascot's world is one of mayhem and mystery.
They are the ultimate symbols of school spirit, the public face of the ACC programs.
We love him! He's the best ever!
I think he's great. I love that he has lots of energy. He gets everyone involved.
Yet the mascots
I am the Duke Blue Devil. I am Ramses.
live life in the shadows. Anonymity is an absolute.
Do people know who you are?
I'm just another face in the crowd.
Do you know Coach K?
No, he's a hard man to meet.
And he wouldn't know who you were.
No.
And at these basketball crazy schools, it seems at least these two students are never part of the party.
You have to make up so many excuses. You know, I have an interview this weekend. Oh, I can't go to the game. I have to go to the library. It is always really funny, though, seeing your friends while you're in the suit, and they just have no idea.
Shrouded in secrecy, the mascot metamorphosis takes on layer after layer. Ramsey's size 13 feet, the Blue Devils celebrated cape.
It is insanely hot in there. You sweat more than you think you'll ever sweat in your entire life.
Hydration and endurance are key. Ramsey's and the Blue Devils start drinking water a day before tip-off. They typically lose 5 to 6 pounds each hour they're undercover. Silence in the suit is a must. Actions speak volumes. The mascot's world, it's one of rules.
Don't run into Coach K when he's walking around the court. Ramses is a little bit mischievous and fun. But he should never endanger anything or do anything that could cause harm.
They live to generate excitement, motivate the masses. Of course, there are perks.
Having to not wait in line for any sporting event ever is pretty nice. You are something that only a couple people in the university get to be.
And you guessed it, there are pitfalls.
You can't scratch your back in any form. It is very difficult to see.
Peripheral vision is non-existent. Bumps to be expected.
You can knock people in the face or something, and you feel really embarrassed because they might be elderly or something and they want their picture, but then you just slap them across the face by accident because they're in your blind spots.
Mascots learn to think on their feet.
Maybe a girl might do something slightly inappropriate. You kind of just work around that, interact, get out of it the best way you can.
And speaking of feet, and all things furry.
But you always have to keep him clean. You don't want him smelling like a ram, no matter how long he's been out.
And so it goes. The games, the girls, the swagger, the strut. It's life in the limelight, mixed with a little mystery behind the mask. Julia Sims, WRAL News, along Tobacco Road.
And this is interesting. Each school typically has 3 to 4 students who act as mascots. They trade off between halves of the game. And while the 2 we interviewed are rivals on the court, they're actually friends off the court.
There's a mascot fraternity, I guess. Yeah, they all get along. Well, here is the celebration once again on the Duke Quad. The students are growing in numbers as they surround the bonfire. A big win for Duke tonight.
We want to quickly go back out to Renee Chu on the Duke campus where students are celebrating their big win over Carolina. Renee?
Gerald, Deborah, the crowd just keeps getting bigger and bigger. We had thousands of Duke students yelling, screaming, dancing around the bonfire. This is a celebration that's reserved only for a Duke victory over UNC on the basketball court. 2 students joining me now who have seen their share of bonfires over the years. Duke seniors, Corinne and Amanda, thanks for being here. First of all, I tried to go down there to see what's going on. Huge, huge crowd. Just tell me, what is it like to be around that bonfire?
It's awesome. Nothing else brings Duke students out like this bonfire after the game against UNC. Nothing else brings students together on Wednesday night, but to be around it, everyone's just pushing, trying to get to the front, see their bench burn.
I mean, this is a huge tradition.
Right. I mean, we had a great game at the end. We really pulled through, and I think everyone's just celebrating that right now. It's such a great night.
So the benches are going in the bonfire. What else are people putting in the fire?
Hard to say, but the benches are the only thing that's supposed to go in there. And the benches are a huge tradition to build them with your houses and then to burn them tonight.
Amanda, Corinne, thank you so much. I'll let you get back to the celebration, and we'll send it back to you.
All right, that student very careful to say that only the benches are burning. Thank you, Renee, for that report.
Wonder what class is going to be like tomorrow at Duke. Well, one man who has seen a lot of Battle of the Blues, Jeff Gravely, there live at Duke. And Jeff, another great game.
It was, so a little pressure on the home team. You got campouts, you've got bonfires. Duke comes through, but Carolina certainly didn't pull any punches. We'll have the highlights when we come back. The issue with Carolina this season hasn't been about talent. It's been about consistent effort. They gave it tonight, and Duke has to respond. You wouldn't expect any more in a battle of the Blues. It's a Blues Brothers battle. Light blue versus dark blue. North Carolina versus Duke. Round one from the indoor stadium on Coach K's 66th birthday. Roy Williams makes a change in the starting lineup, starting P.J. Hairston. Good move. Williams wanted his team jacked and ready to compete, and they are. James Michael McAdoo attacking the rim. North Carolina's defense limits Duke to 18 points in the first 13 minutes, but when Quinn Cook gets the steal and conversion, it's just a 3-point Blue Devil deficit. Carolina out-Dukes Duke from behind the arc in the first half. Razor sharp Reggie Bullock makes it a 10-point lead. But Mason Plumlee, who struggled most of the first half, finally converts a bucket. 33-29 Carolina at the half. It is an uneasy first half for the home crowd, and early in the second, Carolina continues to be the aggressor. James Michael McAdoo, 38-31. What will Duke do? All of a sudden, the Devils light the fuse, taking their first lead on Seth Curry's three. A 16-5 run continues. Rashid Suleiman blows the roof off. Timeout Carolina, Duke by 4. Turnovers and poor shot selection by North Carolina lead to Duke possessions and buckets to pump up the lead to 8. Duke clutch down the stretch. Plumlee with 18 and 11. Quinn Cook 18. Duke remains undefeated at home, 73-68. Blue Devils remain 2 games behind Miami, which won tonight. Let's head into the winning locker room for some post-game reaction.
Win, what turned things for you guys in the second half?
Rebounding. You know, we gave them a lot of second chance points, and, you know, we cut down on the turnovers. You know, myself, I had a lot of turnovers in the first half. You know, we had some turnovers. We led them to some fast break threes, fast break points.
Seth, is shooting threes contagious? You had just missed one. Tyler makes one, and then you guys go on a run.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you confidence when you see one of your teammates make it, and like you said, it's contagious, and we can string some runs together where we hit 3 or 4 threes.
You know, no matter what the record is on each side, the game is going to be a hard-fought one, and we knew that coming in. And you know, they kind of threw the first punch, but that just shows a lot of character from this team. And no matter how far we're down, we're going to believe in each other, and we're going to fight together and try to gnaw and scratch and do whatever it takes to get back to the top and win.
Certainly a different experience for a freshman going through his first Duke-Carolina matchup. Marcus Page certainly got the same sense. Let's head into the Tar Heel locker room.
If you weren't looking at rankings or anything, you would think we were in the top 10 the way we came out and started playing. And I mean, this is how we have to start every single game instead of coming out slow and let teams jump on us from the get-go.
It was hard, man. It was hard. I think the fans play a big part in that. You know, them screaming at the top of the lungs, and you can't even hear, you know, the coaches, you know, the calls he's calling out and stuff like that. And you know, when the fans get involved, it's a hard place to play in.
The season ain't over. We've seen what effort can get us. We can play in big-time games and be up in those big-time games, and we just got to take it to our next opponent.
So you saw a different level of intensity tonight from both teams, Duke and North Carolina. Duke prevails in the opener. They'll head back to Chapel Hill later in the month for round 2 of the Battle of the Blues. We'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Always great game.
Yes, it was a great game tonight, and hopefully the next one will be just as fun.
I'm sure it will. Jeff, thank you.
And thank you for joining us for our Battle of the Blues coverage tonight.
As we leave you tonight, we're going to head back to Sky 5 and the celebration going on the Duke campus. The benches are burning as the Blue Devils fans celebrate a big win over rival UNC tonight. Have a great night, everybody. Our next newscast is at 4:30 a.m. Good night.